Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing good. Having a good day, sitting here waiting for Gerard. I'm going to just go ahead, and when he hops in, we will be good. But I hope everybody's having an awesome Friday. Awesome Friday. And before we start, I want to let you know that if you see the banner below for freebies, go to remoteassistantscout.com. Right now, today, we are doing freebies for loan officers. If you're a realtor, if you're an insurance agent, if you're anybody in other type of sales and so forth, we definitely will send you some freebies too. But go ahead and go to that site and you can take a look, put some information. We're not going to spam you. Don't worry about that. And we'll send you some freebies. And those freebies will include things like standard operating procedures or checklists, what our VAs do for us, such as social media. What do we have them do? So we're going to give you that whole checklist. Other types of strategies, other things that can help you grow your business and have more freedom. And that's the greatest part about hiring a virtual assistant. So we do a lot of Facebook Lives, and this is with Remote Assistant Scout, with helping people give ideas and strategize with using virtual assistants in your business. So we do them every week. This is the first time I'm alone. Gerard is actually doing some interviews. So he's diligently working to help some loan officers and realtors hire their virtual assistants. So like I said, go to the website below if you want to have a part of getting those freebies and getting those standard operating procedures. What do we have our virtual assistants do? And not only that, what strategies in particular, whether it's making outbound phone calls, whether it's setting appointments with potential buyers and sellers, whether it's doing your social media, we have checklists of everything the virtual assistant does. Today, we're going to talk about what are some of the most asked questions do people have when they're thinking about hiring a virtual assistant. So what are the most common questions? And I kind of put a list together of the most common questions. It seems to be, you know, when you don't know something, there's a, you know, you have a lot of questions. You're not sure. Like a lot of people ask me, how do I know a virtual assistant's going to help me grow my business? And then I can kind of explain to them the things that we've seen, the success stories. But, you know, it's about two things. It's two main reasons why a virtual assistant works really, really well for somebody. At the same time, these are two main reasons why individuals have had trouble, or that hiring a VA doesn't work for them. And so there's two really big reasons. Number one is having the wrong person. If you have the wrong person, it doesn't matter how experienced they are. It doesn't matter how good they are. If you don't have a good fit with them, it usually doesn't work out. And that's really with any employee, any team member. If you're a loan officer, you might have the greatest rock star processor in the country, but if you two don't click, there's going to be issues. And so that's real important with virtual assistants, is finding that right person. Especially, you know, if you don't have experience hiring people, it's difficult to find the right person. There's a huge process to it. You've got to look at resumes. You've got to talk to them on the phone. And that leads me to one of the biggest questions people ask me is, how do virtual assistants sound on the phone? If I'm hiring a VA from the Philippines, how do they sound on the phone? And so from my experience, we've hired hundreds and hundreds of virtual assistants for myself, for other realtors, for other loan officers, for other insurance agents, for a plethora of people out there hiring VA. We've hired VAs. And so to answer that question, they sound like they're sitting in the office next to you. And those are the VAs that you want to hire. If you're hiring on your own, if you're wanting us to help you, you want to hire somebody that sounds like us. And so in the Philippines, there are essentially 50% of the people that we talk to have great English speaking voices. Those are the ones we hire. So they're representing us, they're making calls on our behalf. We want them to sound like they're in the office next to us, and nobody ever questions it. So it's not like when you call, and I'm not going to bash any big companies, but when you call these big companies, whether they're cell phone companies, and you get somebody in customer service and you can't understand them, it's frustrating. So I'm not putting down people with accents. Don't get me wrong. I just I know that if somebody, what I don't want to happen is someone get frustrated. So I'm going to ensure they sound as clear speaking English. Most of them have college degrees, so that is not an issue. So that's the first question. But that also leads me to the second question. Second most common question people ask is, how do you, like, what phone system do they use? How do you, like, personally for me, I told you everybody, that works for me, that's a virtual assistant, they sound like they're sitting in the office next to me. How do you do that? And so how I do that is, it's how I set up their phone system. So there's a couple, I'll tell you about two choices. One is Ringcentral. It's a little expensive, but it allows you to assign a phone number, a local number that's kind of part of your team number. If you are a loan officer or a realtor and you don't have a big branch to have a system called like Ringcentral, it's a very easy process. And this is actually what I use, is I open a Skype account for my virtual assistants. So they each have their own Skype account, and I purchase a local number. So I'm in the Houston area. The local numbers are 281 and 832. My virtual assistants have a 281 or an 832 area code number. So when they're making outbound phone calls, the caller ID shows the local number. And so with Skype, it's literally about $5 a month to do that. And it's unlimited amount of calls that the VA makes from the Philippines. So A, they have great English speaking voices. B, they use a number that's a local number. If I don't tell somebody, which I don't, but I don't tell a client, I don't tell a realtor partner, I don't tell anybody that my virtual assistant or my team member is in the Philippines, they don't know. In fact, a funny story, a few years back, I had a realtor partner who showed up at my office with a gift for one of my virtual assistants. And I had to explain to him that she works in the Philippines. Like, she lives in the Philippines. She works in the Philippines. She's not here in the office. And, he assured me, he's like, man, I'm not hitting on her. I really just want to give her a gift because she really helped me. Because what she was doing was she was making phone calls on old leads on his behalf, because that's something I just offer my real estate partners. So she was making calls on his behalf. She set him up scheduled appointments, and he got a listing from it, and he closed that listing, made some good money. So he wanted to give her a gift, and he really didn't believe me. And I had finally, obviously he believed me. I took him a tour through the office. She wasn't there. We called her and he thanked her. And so people don't know. So, so another question that I have, that I hear a lot of is, how do you pay them, or how much do they make? How do I pay my virtual assistant in the Philippines? And so normally now, years ago, it was a lot less, but now a virtual assistant in the Philippines makes about $4 to $5 an hour. And so don't get me wrong with that. The cost of living in the Philippines is very, very different. It's, I think that $4 to $5 here is equivalent to $20, $25 in the Philippines. And so that's good money. On top of that, in the Philippines, individuals that go to work, usually, you know, the Philippines it's very different from the US. The cost of living is different. Number one, minimum wage is like $1 an hour. So if they're making $4 to $5 an hour, the other perk to that is they don't have to drive an hour, hour and a half to go to work. They get to work from home. They have no distractions. They get to work from home. They have the ability to save time from driving, because in the Philippines, it's just weird. Like, you have to literally drive an hour, 2 hours to get to work. And so they get to stay home. They make $4 to $5 an hour. It's a huge win-win for us. It's a huge win, because if your virtual assistant secures you appointments, which you should have them do, make outbound phone calls. You should have them calling past clients. You should have them calling lead lists. So they're doing that for you. The goal is really the first 30 to 45 days, they secure you an appointment. You call or meet with a potential client, and you close on that deal. They have helped you make enough money to cover their payroll for an entire year. So it's a huge win-win. And the virtual assistants make really, really good money, and they get to stay home. The majority of them are college graduates, but they can make more money and have more freedom by staying home and working as a virtual assistant, just like you can make more money and have more freedom by hiring a virtual assistant. Number one, you're making more money because they are doing money-making activities just like you are. One. Two, they're doing strategies that you don't have time to do. They're helping you become consistent with things like social media, building out your database, text messaging leads, following up with leads, following up with past clients, asking for additional business for you. So they're helping you grow your business at the same time as giving you more freedom. So that was one of the top asked questions. Another one, and I think I already covered this, do virtual assistants have accents? There's people in the Philippines that have accents. There's a lot of people in the Philippines that don't. If you want a virtual assistant, you want a team member that doesn't have an accent, you might live in an area that it does bother people, we just don't hire the ones with accents. So that's how you do that. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with them, but that if they're going to be making calls for us, we just want to make sure that we take care of that. Talk about that a little bit. Do they have a minimum amount of hours, or how many hours do they work? So you're hiring this person to work for you, so it's really up to you. What's important is if you're looking for a part-time virtual assistant, you really want to hire somebody that is looking for a part-time job. What you don't want to do is offer a virtual assistant to work 4 hours a day for you, and then they really want to work full-time, so they're going to be out looking for a full-time job. That won't work, because when you hire your virtual assistant, and trust me when I say this, when you hire the right VA, you never want to lose them, because they're helping you grow your business. They're giving you more freedom. And on the same hand, they don't want to lose you. They have a stable job. They have a good pay. They get to stay home. So it's a huge win-win. And so that's all part of getting the right person. You've got to make sure that if you're hiring somebody full-time, that they're working full-time for you, and that they're not, and this is a lot, you know, regarding giving expectations up front. For my virtual assistants is if you're working full-time for me, then I expect you to only work for me. If you're working part-time, I'm looking for VAs that want to work part-time. I just don't want to hire a part-timer that's looking for full-time, because I don't, like I said, I don't want to lose them. I've had a virtual assistant that has been partnered with me, and a lot of people know Gerard, and he's running Remote Assistant Scout now, but he was one of my original VAs. So we've worked together for almost 10 years. I have another VA that's been with me 3 years. And so you don't want to lose them. And if they're happy, they want to stay with you too. So it's a huge win-win. So another question, and this is a very common question I hear a lot, is So they're going to be making outbound phone calls for me. What phone system do I use? And I know I touched on, you know what? I did answer that. Weird. Okay, so I answered that, but I guess that question was just asked, but if you go back at the beginning, you can rewatch it, because I don't know if you guys know this, but when you go Facebook Live, about 85% of the views on your Facebook Live are done after the live. So if you're a loan officer and you're a realtor and you want to do Facebook Lives, here's what you don't want to do. Don't worry if you only have 5, 1, 10, 3, 0 people watching, because you got to remember 85% of the people that watch your Facebook Live, it's done after the live, because when you go live, people are busy. So quick little tip I wanted to add there. What about security? So this is one of the most common questions too, is what about security? Can I trust my VA? If I'm going to have them do my social media, am I giving them credentials? Like, how do you trust them? My answer to that is, and always will be, number one, first you need to realize that your virtual assistant is no different than any team member, employee that you hire. So if you have a loan partner, you have a realtor assistant, or you have a processor, or you have somebody that a transaction coordinator, whoever you hire to help you on your team, you have to learn to trust them, and trust does take time. And so if you're treating your virtual assistant, which you should, just like any other team member, you do have to learn to trust them. My virtual assistant that is doing my social media, she does it 2 hours a day. When she started day one, I didn't give her my credentials to Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. I didn't do that from day one. Number one, I wanted to trust her. Number two, I wanted to make sure she's doing the things that represent me well. So one way that you can do that at the beginning of a relationship is use a LastPass, and if it's a little program you can add to your computer, you can add it to Google Chrome, whatever. But LastPass allows you to send a link to, let's say, your virtual assistant. Let's say it's to your CRM, and it will open it up. They won't see the username and password, but it'll give them access for a number of time, for a timeline. Like you could do it for an hour, you could do it for a day, whatever. So at the beginning, they don't even have your credentials. So if something happened, which never does, it's secure. So a lot of people use that. Eventually, as you build trust with each other, like I have with my VAs, they have my credentials literally on pretty much everything that I have, because they act as me. And so we talk about, another common question is, a real basic question is, what do I have my VA do? And that is those are a couple of the freebie documents that you'll get when you sign on. Like I said, you're going to get no spam, but if you sign on remoteassistantscout.com and take a look, we're going to send you lists and lists of things that the best success stories that virtual assistants can do for you, whether you're a loan officer, whether you're a realtor, whether you're in sales, whether you're an insurance agent, it doesn't matter, because it's very similar tasks. And that's everything from working on your database, setting up your database, building it out so people here are, you're top of mind with them, with email marketing, text marketing, things like that, helping you with your social media. So right now is kind of like spring season because of COVID-19. Everybody's wanting to buy and sell now, actually more wanting to buy than sell. But we're very busy. So we have less time to do things like social media and other type of strategies and staying top of mind with people. So now is the perfect time to have your VA do that, so you're consistent. I can tell you, I don't think there's a day that I haven't posted on social media or sent direct messages through social media or send happy birthdays through social media. Or I don't think there's a day that's gone by where I haven't done that multiple times in the past few years. And the reason is, no matter how busy I am, my virtual assistant still does it. And so aside from social media, building out your database, making outbound phone calls, when you're busy and you're showing houses, or you're a loan officer and you have all this business coming in, the last thing you have time to do is call your past clients. Have your virtual assistant do it and they're asking for business, and you're getting referrals and you're getting leads. Or you record a quick video and your virtual assistant emails it to your database, uploads it to YouTube, uploads it to Instagram, uploads it to Facebook. All these things you can have them do, and we'll give you guys those freebies too. What about security? We did that. How do I train them? When you get the right virtual assistant, you don't have to train them. They're going to train themselves. They're going to go to YouTube. They're going to learn. If you have a CRM that they don't understand, or have never, not understand, but they haven't used in the past before, every CRM has tons of training videos. Have them learn themselves. But that's all about finding the right person. You don't find the right person, what's going to happen is they're going to come to you. Hey, can you teach me how to do this? That's the wrong person. You've got to find someone who knows that, hey, if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to go to the website and learn how to do it. Then what they end up doing is they're teaching you things, not teaching you, they're implementing and then showing you, hey, this is what I did. Now your database is going to get this value email once a week forever. So you're going to stay top of mind. Or this is how I set somebody up on your database to make sure they get a text, make sure they get an email, make sure they're always top of mind. So things like that. So they train themselves, which is really important. Quick tip, if you have them train themselves on anything, have them build a how-to manual while they're doing it. And then they present that to you, and that helps you, number one, know that they did the training. Number two, now you have a how-to manual for somebody else in the future, or even yourself, to kind of help you. But I can tell you, there's things on my CRM I don't even know how to do, but it gets done. That's the most important thing. It's automated because my VA is doing it. So, all right, how do I find the right one? It's very hard. It really is. It's having the right person and finding the right one, not just with experience, but the right attitude and the right having somebody that fits well with you, with your personality. That's what, there's websites you can go to. You can go to onlinejobs.ph. You can go out there, you can pay a company big bucks. And then the problem with that is, you're paying $7 an hour for your VA. The company is paying the VA $3, and they're keeping the difference, and you don't get to manage them. And so Remote Assistant Scout, I'm going to put a plug in for Gerard. He is a master at that. He does not just find the right people with the right experiences. He matches your personalities. He makes sure that it is a good fit. And because what we're looking for is somebody for you that is going to be long-term. They're going to give you long-term and have a long-term relationship. So you can go look for somebody yourself, or you can invest a small amount of money to have the right person. And then not only does Gerard find the right person, but he onboards them correctly. Him and his team do initial trainings. If you're going to have your VA make calls on your behalf, why not have somebody train him that's already doing it and already getting great results? And so he gives the right expectations. An expectation like, hey, at the end of your shift, every day at the end of your shift, you're going to list exactly what you completed for, your team member, your boss, your client, whatever, whoever you want to call them. So every day I get a list of what was done for the day, because I want to manage by results. I don't want to micromanage. And then he gives best practices, best tools that we've used. Asana.com is unbelievable for managing, your team and providing those tools. So not only does it kind of goes back to the beginning of this Facebook, this live. I'm not sure. I think we're using StreamYard, so I know we're on Facebook groups, probably YouTube. Haven't quite got the approval yet for LinkedIn because they're at a beta session, but either way, if you've got to, I'll go back to the beginning when I talked about what are the two biggest mistakes, or what are the two things you got to make sure happen to have a long-term relationship with a VA that's going to help you truly, truly grow your business. You got to find the right one, and that's where Gerard and his team can help you with. And then number two, you got to get that relationship going right. You got to get them off on the right foot. Very important. And so that's pretty much the most common questions. I'm coming to an end because I don't want to take too much time. And Gerard apparently got bogged down. I don't want to say bogged down, but he's in interviews and he's helping some people get the right virtual assistant. So that's a good thing. So I got to do it alone today, which is fun. I talk too much anyway. But again, if you are interested or have any questions, go to remoteassistantscout.com. And not only can we answer your questions, but you'll get some freebies. Even if you decide to hire your own virtual assistant, this can help you. We'll send you some standard operating procedures, things that can help you grow your business with your virtual assistant. What do you have them do and so forth. So go there. Hope I'm not forgetting anything. I hope you guys have an outstanding weekend. I hope everybody's staying safe, and just remember, business is booming. People want to buy houses, and I know there's some tough situations out there, and I feel for people, and I'm a true believer in giving back. But at the same time, I've got to make sure, I take care of my family and take care of the people that need my help. And for all of you, there's people that need help buying their house, selling their house, and so forth. So help them. Business is booming. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I would love for you to share this with anybody you think might benefit from it. And I would love to hear your comments. And I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I will talk to you soon. Call me if you need anything. Stay safe. Thanks.